This video is about the visual novel, but most of it will apply to the anime as well. Also, there will be spoilers. Watanagashi is the most boring chapter in Higurashi, and there are a few factors that contribute to this. Firstly, we are introduced the detailed history of the village and the Sonosaki family. This leads to some scenes feeling like a long exposition dump. Some scenes though still manage a nice atmosphere, like Takano telling folk stories in the ritual storehouse. Another reason is the point of view of the story is told from. In Onikakushi we've got to follow Keiichi as he became a victim to the Rule X. But in Watanagashi we get to what I like to call quote-unquote play the detective, and it's much more about trying to find the culprit. And by the end, despite some unsettling things, we ultimately do believe we know who caused it, and because of this, the chapter's narrative is relatively grounded in reality. That being said, there are still plenty of great and unsettling moments in Watanagashi. But more so than any other chapter, I thought I was certain what is going on. But it is this certainty that when broken is the genius of this chapter. When reading through Meakashi, everyone almost certainly has that one moment at some point where they realize that it is telling the story of Watanagashi from another perspective. We finally get to follow the insanity of the Rule X victim in this story, and the setup from Watanagashi and the following subversion of expectations is what makes the experience so mind-blowing. Shion meeting Satoshi and later losing him to the curse is what sets to motion her character arc. He was the only person at the time of her own age that she could spend time with and relate to. Shion wants to know more about him and learns of his difficult home situation and wants to help, but she has to live hiding and is unable to do anything. So her hatred and jealousy is directed to the people around Satoshi that she thinks are at fault, mainly Mion and Satoko. You could say rather than being angry at Mion, she hated her family and the position her sister held there. She becomes jealous of her freedom and position of power that she holds in the family, and ends up resenting her despite their close relationship. Shion thinks Satoko is the source of burden to Satoshi, and the reason he was pushed into a corner. While Satoko did do many things wrong, the reason she could have even be considered a burden is that Satoshi cared about her very dearly, and it is this fact Shion failed to realize. She was jealous of Satoko and how much Satoshi cared for her, so much so that she was blind to his true feelings. A year later, when Shion meets Keiichi, he reminds her of Satoshi, but since she is living much more freely, he doesn't seem special to her the way Satoshi did. She describes Mion falling in love with Keiichi as what wakes up the demon inside her. This demon is the feeling of jealousy and resentment she felt towards her sister the year before, and waking up of this demon is what leads her down to the path of revenge and insanity. It would be easy to say that Shion did nothing wrong. In reality though, she did everything wrong. Well, maybe not everything, but she definitely could have done better. She had every right for her sadness and jealousy, but how she handled these feelings and let them guide her actions is where she failed. People make mistakes, and Shion is able to realize hers when confronting Satoko while torturing her. Satoshi was Satoko's dear brother, and she knew the mistakes she had made and used them to grow and live like Satoshi would have wanted her to. This is the opposite of Shion, who let her negative emotions take over and only lived for revenge. She has this realization too late though, and is only driven to further insanity by her sadness. In the epilogue and further chapters, when we see her forming a sister-like bond with Satoko, and this really is in line with the message of all of Higurashi, of learning from one's mistakes and dealing with tragedy and negative emotions.